All right, folks, welcome back in. The Rams did not make another move tonight. Well, I guess there's 2 minutes left for them to make a move in the same day on my side of the world. But they did not make a move again after the Jalen Watson move, and that's totally fine. I still think, they have plenty left to go. It's not to say that they're going to go out and get like the biggest free agent possible, but they still have backup quarterback. Receiver, we shall see. There's a chance, but there's also a chance that they're going to attack that in the draft. And they really went after it today, going after, getting Jalen Watson to go with Trent McDuffie to really shore up that defense. You have to also understand, I know a lot of people are going to want this and that, and I understand it, but this team is ready to win a Super Bowl as it stands right now. Now, I have nitpicks, but this team is ready to win the Super Bowl as of right now. The entire point of this team is that they're going to have to stay healthy, but I feel really good about what we're looking at here on paper. And I understand people are like, well, paper tiger, all that, whatever. No, this team from top to bottom right now looks really good. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to mock draft here, mock draft Monday. Grab your closest drink, chill a little bit, hang out, and enjoy the show. We're going to be doing it a little bit different than what we've been doing because I like doing mock draft Mondays in a way that kind of shows you different opportunities for the Rams, shows you different scenarios. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So right off the rip here, we are going to just keep this draft going. Not going to trade up or down. Not yet. I want to see who's there. I guess we could slow it down. So we know number 1 is going to be Fernando Mendoza. Number 2, I don't know. Okay, it's Arvell Reese. 3, Ruben Bain. This is interesting. Titans get Love. That makes sense. Giants get the tackle. So right now, Sonny Styles is chilling there. So is Caleb Downs. So is Carnell Tate is going off the board here. If I want him, I'm gonna have to trade up to get him. The question is, do the Rams want a guy like Carnell Tate? So we're stopping it here to kind of go over Carnell Tate, the player. Okay, and the question is, what are we looking at with Carnell Tate? Okay, we're looking at a player. Personally, he's not my number 1 receiver in this draft. Omar Cooper Jr. is, but I'm trying to think in terms of what the Rams could possibly do. Okay, what do the Rams see with Carnell Tate? Right, what could that look like? And everybody was talking about his 40-yard dash, 4.53. Oh, he actually ran a 4.47. Oh, he ran a 4.43. I don't care, and the Rams won't either. The 40 times mean nothing to me. How does he look on tape? What is his play speed, right? That's what I care about. But here's the thing. When you look at Tate, he's got the 6'2", 192-pound frame. He's not your like prototypical big-bodied receiver, but he's got 10 and a quarter inch hands, and he's got 31 and 3/4 inch arm length. It's interesting with him because he doesn't have the bulk that you would look for as an ideal wide receiver 1 or developmental wide receiver 1. He's got really good body control. He's got, really good agility, speed. I think the speed is better than the 4.53. That's why I don't really care. The tape kind of shows that. I'm a little concerned because I don't think he's a great run blocker, personally. I don't. So I would actually not trade up for Carnell Tate. Then you have the defense, and I don't think the Rams are going to make a defensive move right now. I don't feel that way, not after what they've done, and they've kind of told us how they feel about the linebackers, unless they go out and get somebody. Devin Lloyd was sitting right there, $15 million a year. I think that was doable. Rams chose not to go that route. So I don't think they're going to go after a linebacker. Okay. And I don't think they're, where is Caleb excuse me, where is Caleb Downs going to play if they get him? Like, I'm all for getting the best player in the draft, in my opinion, but where is Caleb Downs going to play, right? So I think the Rams are going to go offensive here. Now, I think Tate is gone. I'm not as high on Tate, and I don't think the Rams are going to be as high on Tate because he's not a great blocker. And if they're going to go up and get, a 6'1" wide receiver, he's got to at least have 200 plus pounds on him. He's got to at least have some bulk. He's got to at least be able to block. And I'm not saying Tate's like he can't block. He's just not a great blocker. Okay. I'm out on Tate here. I don't think the trade up makes sense. So we're going to resume here. Browns are going to take Tate. Oh, they went with Caleb Downs. Okay, so Washington now will probably take a defensive player here. And they took Sonny Styles. The Saints, they took David Bailey. Wow, okay. This is interesting. So the Rams, based on this draw, the Rams have kind of their pick of the litter at wide receiver. Sadiq went 12th, and we've been talking about him for a while. I wasn't going to pick him because we've picked him quite a few times. Okay. So that's what I'll say there. Again, here's Tate. This is some good stuff. Like, he doesn't drop, right? But at the same time, he like I said, the blocking matters. Okay. He's still young. He's not a great blocker. I think that's going to matter. Do you go Monroe Freeling? No, I don't think you do. Then you have Mekhi Lemon. Okay. A lot of people would say there's no way he even falls to this point. Lemon's shorter. Lemon can play in the slot. He has a lot of experience. He can play out wide. So he would make sense as a wide receiver 3. He's forced 21 missed tackles. Tate has forced 6. I feel like this is more up the Rams' alley. Missed tackles. Obviously the deep ball. But on top of that, the slot yardage. And then on top of that, he can block, right? The interesting thing is that Tate only has 12 contested catches. He's 6'1", and Lemon's 5'11". So that's interesting. Now, Jordan Tyson is also here, and I could see them go. By the way, all these guys, really low drop rate, okay? Jordan Tyson, I could also see. Here's the problem with Jordan Tyson. Contested catches, it's not the best, right? The slot snaps, not what you would expect. So this, if you draft Tyson, this is a piece that you look at post Devontae Adams, still in play here. Doesn't mean they wouldn't draft him. But Tyson doesn't make guys miss. And on top of that, and there's no analysis here, but on top of that, you have a guy who has a lot of like injury concerns. So, I mean, that's a real thing. I didn't realize that at first. Because I was looking, I was like, Jordan Tyson has some injury concerns. And I mean, what does that look like, right? Well, I mean, he could check out, and it's going to be kind of a case-by-case basis. I think the Rams could consider Jordan Tyson for sure, but I think the injuries are a problem. I mean, so, you look and, you see the ACL, the MCL, the PCL, missing 15 games between 2022 and 2023. He's dealt with reoccurring hamstring issues. He's never played a full season. I don't think the Rams are going to go with the injuries here. I don't think that. So to me, Lemon is probably the better fit out of those 3. Okay. Then what do you look at? Obviously, Sadiq's off the board. You have Omar Cooper Jr. Like I said, he's going to fly up this board. I think he'll be in play. Is Omar Cooper Jr. a fit? I think he's 100% a fit. 27 missed tackles forced. I mean, he's the number 1 receiver in the draft, in my opinion. But the question is, are the Rams going to take a guy like him? Now, he's 22 or 22.2. So he's a young 22 years old. And then you look at Jordan Tyson, the injury concerns. He's 21 and a half. So he'll be 22 by the end of the season. Mekhi Lemon is almost 22. And then Carnell Tate is a really young 21. So, I mean, the question is, the age really doesn't matter here because they're all kind of within the same ballpark. The question is, what do the Rams most look for in receivers? They look for blockers. They look for guys that can win after the catch. They look for guys that can catch the football. So you look at Omar Cooper Jr., and the drop rate is the highest among these four. The contested catch rate is higher than Jordan Tyson's. So that's interesting. Then you have Denzel Boston. Now, I'm not saying they would take him at 13, but it becomes interesting, right? It becomes interesting with Denzel Boston, taller receiver, obviously. So right here, we're going to talk about Boston here in a sec, but right here, you have the drops, not a ton, but he doesn't force a lot of missed tackles. I saw this guy, as big as he is, it seemed like he was going down on arm tackles a little too much for my liking. He does make the contested catch. He's a really good contested catch receiver. I mean, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Kenny Golladay, who, of course, played with Matthew Stafford. I don't know. I mean, I think you have an argument for drafting Boston. And keep in mind, we're analyzing everything here. We're not talking about just 13. We're saying, hey, maybe we should trade down here, right? Willing blocker, right? Tyson is a willing blocker. And obviously Omar Cooper Jr. blocks, and they all block. Who's the best of the bunch? I think it's Omar Cooper Jr. Then I would say it's Mekhi Lemon. And I think Boston is right up there, right? I think Tyson's a really good blocker. I think Tate is the worst of those guys blocking-wise, and I think that matters. The yak ability also matters with the Rams, and I just don't feel like Boston has the yak ability that the other guys have, right? I also don't feel like Boston separates enough. Like, he's a really smart football player. He's got some speed, some size. Obviously, the contested catch rate, it's like almost 77%, which is insane. But my issue with Boston is that he has these contested catches because of the positions that he's putting himself in. He's not getting a lot of separation. I feel like the name of the game is separation. You look at the Rams, and every one of them has a high separation score. They might not be qualified to have the top of the top, but Konate Mumfield separates, regardless of what you say. Xavier Smith separates. Tutu Atwell separated, right? Jordan Whittington separates. Devontae Adams leads the league in separation score. And Puka Nacua is 6th. So separation matters. I think I'm going to eliminate Boston here. And I'm going to go with either Omar Cooper Jr. or Mekhi Lemon. Now, the question is, would you take Mekhi Lemon, right? Would you take Mekhi Lemon at 13? Or would you take Omar Cooper Jr., right? And a trade down. So you get Omar Cooper Jr. and you get another second or whatever pick we decide to make here. So I'm actually going to put a poll here in the chat, and you guys are going to decide for me. There you go. I told you we were going to do something different. So here we go. You decide. I'm going to just make it very simple. Which one are we doing? We got Omar Cooper Jr. and second round pick, Mekhi Lemon, and no trade down. And I want to see, I'll do whatever you guys put. I do not care. I already told you Omar Cooper Jr. is my number one receiver in the draft. But if you guys want me to go with Lemon, I will go with Lemon. I figured we'd try something different. We got 43 votes, and it looks like Omar Cooper Jr. in a second rounder is kind of pushing away. Now, I don't dislike Lemon. I see there's a lot of trade downs here. Good Lord. So here's the deal. I like Lemon a lot. I don't like him as much as I initially did because I thought he was going to be the best receiver in the draft when I watched him. And then I watched Omar Cooper Jr. and I see so many similarities, but he's not getting the same amount of hype. And I think really it was because he had Elijah Surratt on the other side of him, right? And Elijah Surratt got a lot of attention. And keep in mind, like, Indiana won the national championship, but Omar Cooper Jr., like, he didn't even have 1,000 yards because he had Surratt, right? He had Surratt on the other side. So I do think that matters. Love this. I think the tribe has spoken. A lot of trade downs. Omar Cooper Jr. is going to win. We're not going to keep this thing going much longer. Let's go to 80 votes and we'll call it. We got a 62-38 commanding lead for Omar Cooper Jr. and a second round pick. So let's see. It sure looks like that thing is not going anywhere. So if you haven't voted, be sure to vote, and then we'll lock this thing in. And yeah, I'm gonna lock the thing in anyway. Yeah, now Omar Cooper Jr. just got more percentage. So the point I'm making here in this poll is that I think Lemon's really good, but is Lemon that much better than Cooper Jr. to justify not trading down when you know you can trade down and get Cooper? And I'm not saying you know that, but I'm saying in this scenario, based on what we have right now, is he worth that much? I don't think so. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to listen to the audience. We are going to make a trade. We're going to use a draft chart, right? The trade value chart, our nifty little thing. And we're going to be at 13. So that's 336 points, according to the Rich Hill model. And we are going to trade with a team that wants to trade up for Mekhi Lemon here. So, because that's probably what they would do. So looking at this, we got trade options here. Tampa, that's not far enough. The Vikings, so we got, that would be 18 and 49. Okay, so that would be a drop off of, let's see, 36, and then, so that would be 49 points. So that wouldn't do it. Yeah, it would need to be like not extensive, but it would need to be significant. Like, you go to Dallas here, they don't have a second rounder, so that wouldn't work because the Parsons deal. Carolina, 278 to 336. That probably wouldn't work. So I think the Steelers pick 53 probably makes the most sense because that's 106. And then the Steelers, it's around. Nope. You know what? I'm going to go way down. I'm going to go down to the Browns. Going to go to the Browns here. And we're going to go to. Nope. They don't have one either. Okay. Trying to figure this thing out. Chargers. What are we looking at? I think the Chargers one is fair. Okay, there we go. So you trade down not even 10 spots and you pick up 55. I think it's a good move. It's a weaker draft. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to hate it. We're just keeping it simple. We want the second round pick. So the Rams get the 55th overall pick in the second round and the 61st. Now, it'd be cool to have a higher pick, but I feel like that's like fair. I'm trying to make this somewhat fair here. So, Chargers, they end up going with Carnell Tate. That makes sense. They trade all the way up to get Tate. Raiders get Mekhi Lemon. Will be really funny if Omar Cooper Jr. gets drafted, and then it totally defeats the whole purpose of this trade down. Might have to literally restart the whole damn thing. Even though I don't want to restart. Steelers, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, good. So, Cooper Jr. falls to the Rams here at pick 22. What you're getting a fantastic blocker. You're getting a guy that has spatial awareness, always knows where he's, where he is on the field at all times. Really good speed, really good contact balance. He's going to make plays after the catch. He gives you a guy that can play on the outside, but he also gives you a guy that can play on the inside. You see the versatility. This is my draft crush in this draft. You see the slot snaps right there. You see the wide snaps. He didn't play as much out wide this year. He did last year and he did the year before, but he shows the ability to play in the slot. This was his best year. I think in this season, you put him in the slot. You can put him out wide. You have him with Adams and Akua. And he's good enough where those reps where we're talking 13 personnel and it's Konate Mumfield on the field or Jordan Whittington, and that's your wide receiver. Now that can be Omar Cooper Jr. He, to me, the comparison is that of a Robert Woods, of a Hines Ward, of a Emeka Egbuka, right? That is my favorite type of wide receiver, my favorite archetype. So, for that reason, we are going with Omar Cooper Jr. and a trade down. Gets us another second-round pick, and we're going to make that pick there. So there you have it. We'll slow this thing. Well, we'll speed this thing up here. We're not trading up, trading down, all that. 55, all right? So at 55, what are the Rams most likely to do here? We got the wide receiver. They fixed up the defense. We're trying to think like the Rams, okay? We're not trying to do what we would want to do. We're trying to do what we think the Rams would do. I think the Rams could really consider Jennings Dunker here. Reason being is because he's a listed tackle, but I think he's going to kick in at guard in the NFL. I think he's going to be a natural fit at guard, and even not, you look at the right tackle here. If he is a right tackle at the NFL level, it gives them some depth, but also on top of that, this is somebody that creates some leverage if Warren McClendon Jr. and the contract, negotiations don't go accordingly. You don't now feel like you're stuck, okay? And God forbid, let's just say, oh, yeah, we signed Warren McClendon Jr. It's all good. What do we do with this guy? Well, now he can kick in at guard. So I could really see that because Avila is going to be a free agent and so is Kevin Dotson. They've voiced their pleasure about going after and having a long-term partnership with Kevin Dotson, extending that. They haven't talked about Avila. So one of those guys is going to be gone. And if they move on from Avila, then I think Jennings Dunker makes a lot of sense at guard. Okay, so that's a first option. Jadarian Price makes no sense, okay? He is a solid running back, but the only way I see the Rams drafting a running back is if Jeremiah Love falls into their lap, and they just don't have a choice. Gabe Jacas, I think I totally butchered that name. I could see them potentially adding a pass rusher, maybe just not this early. I don't know about that one. You already added the wide receiver. I could see them going with Stukes because they still probably will add another corner. And I see Igbinosin. Here's the thing, okay? Where they're at right now, like you look at like Jake Golday, he's great against the run. The thing is, I'd like to see them add like a coverage guy, and he definitely can do that as well. I could see Stukes. I'm trying to do something that I think the Rams would do. I'm probably going to say, it's probably Igbinosin. And I've already said that, but it probably is, but we're going to put him at the second pick. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that there's actually a realistic possibility they could double up on wide receiver here, and they could take Surratt as well. I know people are going to laugh at me. Oh, well, now we're just doing the, okay, two Chiefs, and, hear me out. Surratt actually projects pretty well to Devontae Adams. He's more of the technically sound outside receiver. The contested catch rate isn't great, but the guy does create separation. But I see somebody that could really be utilized in that realm. Now, he's not going to be crazy yards after the catch, but if the Rams are looking at an X receiver that could potentially replace Devontae Adams after this season, I could see Surratt. I could also see Chris Brazel the second. Okay. I like this guy a lot. And I think you see the contested catch rate is not super high. But the one thing that stands out to me is while this guy's standing at 6'5", 200, it's how easy, how fluid his hip movement is. Okay. This is a guy that can really sink his hips and he can actually run routes and really sell routes and create separation. And people are going to scout the helmet and say, Justin Hunter. They're going to talk about, all the Tennessee wide receivers since, like for instance, Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, like this is why you don't scout the helmet. They're all different, and I think Brazel is actually, he's like Kenny Golladay, but he's a little bit more built, I would say. And I also think he's probably going to end up being better. So there's definitely some different directions to go in. Josiah Trotter is another guy, of course. Really good run defender, not great in coverage. I don't know if that's somebody that I can't say that. The Rams do love Troy Reader. So I can't say that the coverage thing rules them out entirely. In this case, and it's tough, but I'm actually going to go with Dunker. I think Dunker makes a lot of sense for what they're doing. Keep in mind, this is a team that has filled all their needs at this point. You added a receiver. He's your wide receiver 3. You added Trent McDuffie and you added Jalen Watson. Who do you actually need at this point? We can talk about upgrades. Maybe you don't love Nate Landman starting. That's fine. But that's not somebody the Rams view as a need. They don't need to replace him. Dunker is a draft pick that helps their depth this year, but gives them an opportunity down the road where now they can move this guy. They can either keep him at tackle if Warren McClendon Jr. doesn't sign, gives them some flexibility there, or they can play him at guard. To me, he's the best player on the board, so I'm going to go with Dunker. And then at 61, the question is, right, do they go Brazel here? Do they go Surratt? Do they decide to double up on receiver? Do they go Kyle Lewis, who, to me, Kyle Lewis feels like he could be a Ram. I mean, he's a really good player. They can kind of line him up everywhere. He's an interesting one. He's undersized for sure, but I could see them liking his abilities. I could also really see him go with Igbinosun. He's more raw, I would say. This is a raw cornerback. But what you see with this guy, first off, his assistant defensive backs coach is with the Rams right now, and Michael Hunter, as I've said. Igbinosun, in that sense, like this is somebody that he's very grabby, but you have Emmanuel Forbes as your third already. Igbinosun could really develop behind guys like Watson, like McDuffie, like Forbes, and at wide receiver 4, potentially wide receiver 5, if they bring back a Roger McCreary or a Kobe Durant, you could actually justify, the raw factor of Igbinosun. So I can see that. I think the thing the Rams are most likely to do, and I could also see Derek Moore, by the way, as well, and double dip on Michigan Wolverines. And you know what? I kind of like Derek Moore as the pick, to be honest with you. Feels like something that they could definitely do. This one's tough. I mean, where do you... I'm going to give you guys the option again, okay? We're going to go with Igbinosun or Derek Moore. Okay, that is what the poll is going to be. So Davison, Igbinosun, or Derek Moore. And I'm curious where y'all will go, what direction y'all will go with. But keep in mind, this is what we're looking at right now. And some might say, oh, I don't like this draft. That's fine. I'm trying to do what you think. And it's not what you guys would do necessarily. What do you think the Rams would do? Do you think they'd go with the edge, or do you think they go with the cornerback? Do you think they go with Igbinosun, who they have familiarity with because of their coach? Or would they go with another edge from Michigan? That's the question. I think Derek Moore is really good, man. I'm not sure. It is another speed to power guy, to be fair. So there is some redundancy with Jared Verse. He's a really good run defender. And to be fair, I mean, he was on the field all the time. It's so close. Be sure to vote, chat. I know we have almost 400 people in here. Igbinosin has taken a lead. This one is really close. Igbinosin pulling away. When should we pull this poll? Pull this poll. That is not easy to say. I don't know. So I mean, Josiah Stewart's kind of his own thing. Like, he's not Byron Young and he's not Jared Verse. This is a guy that's built more like Jared Verse, just without the height. Actually, he's honestly very similar to Byron Young. Huh. Kind of an old school pass rusher. Let's see. We got 58 votes. Everyone drop your vote. We'll pull it soon. It's looking like Derek Moore is going to be the pick. I don't know. Part of me thinks it's going to be Igbinosin. Huh. I might still have to overrule you guys just because my gut is telling me the Rams would go with Igbinosin and not Derek Moore. Yeah, both are really good depth pieces. I feel like that familiarity. It's so tough, man. But those, I think, are the two guys that they would go. Kyle Lewis, they'd be interested in as well. They'd also be interested in, well, it depends on what they did beforehand, but based on where they're at right now. All right, I'm locking it in. It's Derek Moore. So the Rams get another Michigan Wolverine at the edge position, and basically what that means is now puts them in a position where they have some serious depth. I mean, I already really like the job that Desjuan Johnson's doing. So now you have 5 edge defenders. You got Verse, you got Young, you have, of course, Josiah Stewart, and now, of course, you have Derek Moore. Stewart and Moore played together at Michigan, I'm pretty sure, unless he transferred, and I didn't know that. But pretty sure they played together at Michigan. The funniest thing about this is that, and not the funniest thing, but the coolest thing for the Rams and how it really benefits them is now Jared Verse, obviously you're going to have to pay him, but I still think they're going to pay Byron Young, but now it's one of those things where they add some flexibility here. Okay, do they have to pay Byron Young? They technically don't, right? I'm not saying that Derek Moore is going to obviously hit and be a fantastic draft pick and be a star, but he could end up being really good for them, and he's great against the run. So you put him in on those obvious rush downs, and you could mix it up a little bit. I think Moore's a good pick. It was tough. Igbinosin, I could really see. I still kind of see, but you're right. I gotta stick. I was kind of joking. Obviously, I wasn't gonna overrule it after making you guys vote the poll. The poll has spoken. It is Derek Moore, edge defender from Michigan. And we're going to go down the rungs here. And the Rams pick at 93. Okay. So this is what we're looking at here. All right. What would the Rams do in this case? Okay. First off, I think Drew Aller's very much in play here. It seems early, but that's because Drew Aller's stock is rising. Okay. I don't think the Rams are in a hurry to take a quarterback, but at the same time, I know that they like Aller. I've heard they like Aller a lot. Aller, the biggest thing is that he played in Andy Kotelnicki's offense, does not fit his scheme at all, or does not fit his thing at all. Okay. So that's the thing there. Okay. Aller, big arm, prototypical size, just really not like a great year. He also didn't play a ton, but I really like Aller, and I know the Rams like him. Okay. This is somebody that they've had their eye on for a while. He's only 22 years of age, 6'5", 235, and man, he's got a cannon. Drew Aller, my comparison is Joe Flacco coming out of Delaware. Okay. Big arm, prototypical size, doesn't have like a ton of mobility, but it's not really what it's about. Okay. I can really see Aller. Jake Slaughter, the center from Florida. Okay. Good player, obviously. This would be another depth option. It sets them up. Keep in mind, Coleman Shelton is a free agent after this season, and Bo Limmer's the backup, but he could fight Bo Limmer for the backup job. There is a real possibility they could go with a center here. I'm not saying they will, but they could. So Drew Aller's in play. Jake Slaughter's in play. You got Anthony Hill Jr. playing from Texas, right? And we know that there's a connection to Texas there. Personally, I wouldn't go in this direction. I don't think he's the best option here. Malachi Fields is intriguing because, well, obviously you see the drop right there, but he's another big wide receiver, good athlete, right? And I could see something like that if they want to add some flavor. But also, I think the Rams, part of the reason why I didn't go wide receiver, I think the Rams like Konate Mumfield a lot. So I don't know about that. And I see people saying Jake Slaughter ain't depth. Well, I see one person. He's a starter. He's not starting over Coleman Shelton. It's not happening. Dante Corleone's got one of the best names you ever heard, but aside from him being able to stop the run, he's not really going to do much as a pass rusher. So, you know, I don't know if that's in play there. Bryce Lance, I could see, but again, I think they really like Mumfield. So I don't know, but I could absolutely see Bryce Lance as an option. Really good contested catch guy. You know, then I've had Wheatley in some mocks. Ted Hurst from Georgia State. His stock is starting to rise. He's a bigger receiver as well. I wish he had more to his frame. And the drop rate I don't love. But of course, Georgia State depends on who's throwing him the football, right? So there's some guys here. Deontay Lawson is another linebacker. But again, like the coverage. So here's the thing. Right now, for the Rams, what I think the Rams would do right now. Obviously, this could change in the future. So let's understand, as of right now, March 10th at 12:36 a.m., this is what I think the Rams would do or could do, right? So I think we're looking at Slaughter and Aller, and I think that's really it. So which one are we going to go with? I'm going to go with Aller here. Slaughter's absolutely in contention here. Aller, to me, this is just a guy, like the last 2 years, I know the Rams have scouted and they like him a lot. And they might not take him, but I got to go with my gut here. I felt like Aller for a while was the guy. So I'm going to go with Aller here. And I know, again, probably groans from the audience. I get it. And yeah, they're not going to have a pick until the 6th round. Okay. We're probably going to trade up, knowing the Rams. Let's see. Before we make this pick, we got 206, 232, 250, and 255. Okay. I don't foresee them using all of these picks. I see them kind of trading up, maybe using some draft capital next year to move up. They've never been afraid of moving a 4th round pick before. And they moved a 3rd rounder next year. Let's see here. So I'm going to say they traded the 5th away. So you're looking at 206, 232, 250, and 255. I think that's wrong. It's supposed to be 250 and 251. They just announced the picks today. So 250, 251, 205, 233, or 206, 232. Looking at that all together, those points are 5, 10. Okay. So that's 10 points total. That is not enough to get you into the fourth round, which shocker, but it is enough to get you into the fifth. So I think the Rams may package all those picks to get up and get one more player. This is not going to be a big draft class, and it doesn't have to be, okay? I don't see it. So I think this is going to be a draft where they trade most of their draft picks to condense and move up. So before we even make this selection, okay, I know someone's going to complain in the comment section after the fact, this is not how the draft works. They can't just do that. They can, but I understand this isn't normally how the draft works. However, this is how I'm going to do it. Makes it easier for me. So, with that said, you have 206 is a 5-point pick. Okay? And you got 232, and that is a 3-point pick. So that's 8 points. And we're going to use one of those picks. So we're going to trade 206, 232, and we'll trade, the 255. We'll keep 250, okay? So this is to move up into the fifth round. Some might say this isn't worth it. I think it is. I just don't see them doing that much. So we're going to move all the way up to Washington's pick at 145. They're not going to do that. Let's do New Orleans at pick 148. Okay, they didn't like that. No. Okay, not budging there. Okay. Let's do Tampa 153. All right, let's see how high we can actually get up. Carolina 157. All right, screw it. I'm going to make this pick, and then I'm going to trade after the fact. When we start getting into the fifth round is when I'll... Okay. Are the Saints interested now? Any shot? No. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We are going to try and trade up here. Anything? I guess it's not going with the trade value chart. It is what it is. We'll resume. We will try and trade here. Okay. Let's try this. 2% chance to be... Yeah, they're like overvaluing these picks in this. At this point... Yeah, screw it. All right. Well, that didn't go at all how I wanted it to go. Yeah. Not really a fan after that. I know the Rams would most likely trade up. I just got annoyed. So yeah, at this point, there's one player that I like here. Well, there's two, but they already, we already picked a quarterback. So, I like Delp. He's a really good blocker for Georgia. I mean, like you're not seeing great stuff receiving wise, but he's a really good blocker. I'm gonna put Delp in here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Delp or let's see, Gums, Wisniewski. I'm going to be honest. I don't know who Wisniewski is, but I like the 6'4", 220-pound size. I like the run defense and coverage grades. I'm actually going to go with Wisniewski. Special team guy. Has a chance to maybe fight for that job with Jalen McCullough. Best player available. Screw it. I'll go with Cole Wisniewski here. All right. Now at pick 232. I would love that, but 232 Devontae Smith. Terrion Stewart. I'm going to be honest. I do not love this part of the draft at all. Like I don't know how many guys here are entirely draftable. This is another, blocking tight end. Yeah, I don't know many of these guys. I mean, I know Lorenzo Styles Jr., but we just took a safety. Josh Cameron's interesting. Would Josh Cameron fall this far? I'll take Josh Cameron. I don't know if he's going to fall that far. But I'll take Josh Cameron. He's a good player. All right. Then at this point, Josh Moten, Southern Miss. I mean, the Rams missed tackle percentage. Tyreek Chappelle. Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest, guys. I don't know most of these guys that well. I mean, I know who they are. Let's look at, we're at the point where it's either, you're probably drafting UDFAs. So, Chip training them. Jamal Haynes. I mean, I like Whittington, but I liked Whittington beforehand. Dean Connors. This guy's gonna go way higher. I don't know why he's all the way down here. So is Maccabee. Why is he? Some of these guys, are they not even in the draft? I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna go with Josh Moten here. And then, guys, I'm not like super thrilled about this. I gotta watch some of the later guys. But we got tackle, wide receiver, edge, quarterback, safety, wide receiver, corner. What are we looking at here for the tight end? No. I'm going to go with Riley Nowakowski from Indiana. A little undersized, though. I don't know if maybe, would they be interested in that? Connor Tollison? Huh. Yeah, I'm going to go with him just by default. When we weren't able to make that trade, I was pretty bummed, if you couldn't tell. So that's what we are looking at here. Omar Cooper Jr., you get a wide receiver 3 on this team. That is the last thing that I think they really need right now. Jennings Dunker, you get a potential right tackle of the future, can kick in at guard. I think he's a guard in my personal opinion. So I think he could replace Steve Avila or Kevin Dotson, whichever one isn't signed. Derek Moore gives you another guy in that rotation, a really good run defender. And, again, he's a speed to power guy. But at the same time, he kind of fits what they're doing. And it's another Michigan Wolverine to go with Josiah Stewart. Drew Aller gives them a legitimate potential starting quarterback in the future, potential franchise quarterback. I haven't finished my evals with all the quarterbacks. He's going to grade out pretty high in this draft for me. He's going to be one of the top quarterbacks for me in this draft. He might end up being number 2. So I'm a big fan of his game. Cole Wisniewski, really just liked what I saw, from the size, the 6'4", 200 something pound. I didn't know him too well. So, I saw what I saw and I went for him. Josh Cameron, I feel like is going to go higher, but I like him as well. Josh Moten kind of gives you, some cornerback depth. Obviously you're going to need that, but I decided to go with Riley Nowakowski at the end. Good blocker, a little bit of an underrated receiver, but he also isn't like super tall. Like he's 6'2". So yeah, they say it's top 48% of LA Rams drafts, B+. I'll take it. I mean, I wasn't thrilled that I couldn't make a trade that based on this trade calculator, I should have been able to get a 5th round pick. I was a little annoyed that they didn't have that programmed in, but it is what it is. What do you guys think? Where are we at on this? I mean, this was help from you. You guys chose Omar Cooper Jr. in a trade down. So essentially Omar Cooper Jr. and Jennings Dunker, you chose over Mekhi Lemon. That's what you chose. And then on top of that, you chose Derek Moore over, who'd you choose him over? Davison Igbinosun. So I had them not drafting a corner until round 7, which isn't a shock because they took a corner that they loved in Darion Kendrick in round 6 out of Georgia. I mean, stranger things have happened. So, yeah, that's the mock. I hope you guys enjoyed. That is based on today, okay? Didn't go cornerback round 1 because they don't need to. And was cornerback the best option? No. Here was the draft. This is what we were working with here. Mansour Delane, if he was there at 13, I would have considered him. Absolutely. But he wasn't. And then you look at Jermon McCoy, and I have questions about the injuries. Hasn't played football in over 500 days. Wasn't ready for the combine. That's concerning. So then you look at Avion Terrell, who fits the Rams defense well, but now you have to think about it. You have Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson who will be playing together for the next 3 seasons. I'm not in a hurry to just draft a corner to draft one. So Avion Terrell felt like that would have been a reach. Yeah. So that I decided to go that route. I see comments. I don't like the draft. Sorry. Don't have to apologize. I'm used to people not liking my mock drafts. Trust me. Used to it. But I think it's pretty solid, all things considered. And I'm glad you guys helped us with the round 1 and round 2 because Jennings Dunker isn't in play here if we take Mekhi Lemon, right? Now, would it make sense to trade up? Yeah, I mean, if Jeremiah Smith was that wide receiver in this draft, yeah, absolutely. But there's not a wide receiver worth trading up for because Omar Cooper Jr., in my opinion, is the best receiver in the draft. And it doesn't look like you're going to have to trade up for him. You're in his wheelhouse. You could still probably trade down and get him. So that's what we did here. But yeah, that's that. I would also to point out, I did end up it's funny, I did end up getting one of the guys right in free agency on my mock off season. The Rams ended up signing Joe Cardona. So pretty cool stuff there. I went with Cardona. He had familiarity with Bubba Ventrone back when he was the long snapper. Bubba Ventrone was the assistant special teams coordinator with the Patriots, and Joe Cardona was the long snapper for the Patriots then. It was a while ago, but I kind of put the two and two together, and I was like, you know what? I think Joe Cardona is going to end up being in play here, and yeah, the Rams ended up signing him to a 2-year deal, and that was who I projected because I think Jake McQuaid's going to retire. So cool stuff, obviously. Tomorrow, we'll be on the lookout. I'm not expecting them to go big or go home type thing. I think they're all in, and I want to make this very clear and just make it so people understand. Look, I understand people are not super thrilled with the idea of just they're all in and they only made one signing. And I saw there were people that were voicing their displeasure in my Discord and on Twitter. But I implore you to take into account that the Rams, first off, didn't have that many needs, okay? They really didn't. And second, they just went out and they imported Kansas City Chiefs cornerback room, okay? They made a blockbuster trade, and they signed, if not the most efficient cornerback in the draft, in the free agency, the second most, okay? It's either Jamel Dean or him. So they're off and running. They're off to a good start. It was only, day one of free agency. I'm looking at backup quarterback. That's still a need, especially in a win now season, all in season, Super Bowl or bust season. If Stafford goes down for a game or two, those wins matter. Who's going to take over? And so right now, I'll look real quick at like who's on the market. Because, obviously I've talked about Kyler Murray. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I just would obviously enjoy it if it did, because I like Kyler. I know a lot of people don't. I think he's better than giving credit for. I think it does make sense. And it's only if he was willing to take a backup job. Obviously, I'm not trying to force one on him, and he wouldn't take it anyway. But right now, the quarterbacks that are available in free agency include, Trey Lance, Sam Howell, Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett just signed, I believe, Panthers, I think. Skylar Thompson, Kyle Allen, Brett Rippon, no. John Wolford, Easton Stick, Jeff Driscoll, Carson Wentz, Brandon Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, Jimmy Garoppolo, Tyrod Taylor, Russell Wilson, Josh Johnson, Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, and Phillip Rivers. Weird. There's not... Did I say Geno Smith? I guess they don't have him on here. But anyway, Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins were both also released. They would be in play here. I don't know who the Rams are going to end up getting. Because, Jimmy Garoppolo, it would be great to bring him back, but what does that look like, right? He's getting starting opportunities, or at least he's getting starting interest. Like the Dolphins were interested, and I know they went with Malik Willis, but the Cardinals were interested. Apparently they're not going that route. I don't know what's going to happen with him. Marcus Mariota did sign. I was surprised by that. I don't know. Cousins has familiarity with McVay, obviously. And Geno Smith is a lot better than what he showed last year with the Raiders. I don't know, man. I think Geno gets a bad rap. I kind of feel like Geno could be the guy. I wouldn't be surprised they went with Kirk. To me, what would the Rams do? They'd go after, a Russell Wilson. They'd go after a Geno Smith. They'd go after a Kirk Cousins. They'd go after Jimmy Garoppolo. They want a backup quarterback that knows his role, okay? He's a backup quarterback. I don't think that they're trying to reinvent the wheel here. I don't think they're going to go after Kyler Murray. It would be cool if they did. I tend to lean towards a Geno Smith right now. That's kind of what I would say. If they don't bring back Jimmy Garoppolo, probably Geno Smith. But you can never rule out, you can never rule out Cousins and that connection with McVay. I'm just saying. So keep an eye on those two, and keep an eye on, Russell Wilson as a backup. I mean, why not? So those are my thoughts. I don't know if we're going to get a receiver. If we get one, obviously, the next mock draft Monday won't have a receiver going in the first round. I still am all in on going after Sadiq if he falls in your lap. Sadiq in this mock draft, in case you need a refresher, Sadiq did not make it to pick 13. That's why we traded down. Well, I was still going to take a receiver anyway. Sadiq went at 12 to the Cowboys. Now, would the Cowboys do that with Jake Ferguson? I don't know. But I guess, I guess. You never know with the Cowboys, right? But we shall see. That wraps up our number 4 mock draft Monday. It's been a fun one. Tomorrow, keep it here. We're going to have content. Are the Rams going to sign another player? Whatever. I mean, I'm not going to go live to talk about Joe Cardona, but I was excited about it. Long snapper. I just don't have too much to add, aside from the fact that he's a long snapper that has familiarity with Bubba Ventrone, and played for the New England Patriots, and he was also with the Dolphins. I was told to keep an eye on Brandon Ayuk. I don't know what that means. If he gets cut, like maybe the Rams are interested or they consider it. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Backup quarterback, I do believe, is next. We shall see. Like I said, names to keep an eye on. Russell Wilson, obviously, I mentioned. Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, guys that have been there, done that. So, yeah, that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Before we get on out of here, I am going to hit up these super chats. I really do appreciate you guys patiently waiting. I didn't even see them until now. The Gators boy became a new YouTube member. Appreciate you. Much love. Alex came in with a broccoli here. Have you seen Steve Smith's after combine rankings of receivers? He has Cooper rising, and he compares him to new coach Bobby Trees. I don't know how you can watch Omar Cooper Jr. and not love what you see. The contact balance is otherworldly, okay? And imagine having him and Puka Nacua, just breaking tackles and refusing to go down. It's just going to make it really tough on defenses to game plan. So, Alex, appreciate you, double X Alex, with the broccoli there. And then DSXZE, appreciate the blueberry here. Who'd you take at 13? Said it before. Give me Tyson. I traded down and took Omar Cooper Jr. It was him or take Mekhi Lemon. The tribe had spoken via the poll, and they went with Omar Cooper Jr. and Jennings Dunker, pick 55, which I took Jennings Dunker with, over just getting Mekhi Lemon. So that's where we're at. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys soon. Enjoy your night, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. Later, folks.